നമസ്കാരം. മലയാള മനോരമയുടെ ഓൺലൈൻ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമായ മനോരമ ഹൊറൈസൺ ഫോർച്യൂൺ IAS അക്കാദമി തിരുവനന്തപുരം സംയുക്തമായി UPSC സിവിൽ സർവീസ് എക്സാം എന്താണ്, എങ്ങനെ തയ്യാറെടുപ്പ് ആരംഭിക്കണം എന്നിങ്ങനെ UPSC സിവിൽ സർവീസ് പരീക്ഷയെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള ഒരു അവലോകനമാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു സെഷനിലൂടെ നമ്മൾ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു സെഷനിൽ നമ്മളെ അതിഥിയായി നമ്മളോട് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് നിരവധി വർഷങ്ങളായി UPSC സിവിൽ സർവീസ് പരിശീലന രംഗത്ത് അനുഭവ സമ്പത്തും ഒപ്പം ഫോർച്യൂൺ IAS അക്കാദമിയുടെ എക്സിക്യൂട്ടീവ് ഡയറക്ടറുമായ ശ്രീ മുനിദർശൻ VG ആണ്. ഏറ്റവും സ്നേഹത്തോടെ മുനി സാറിനെ നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു സെഷനിലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. സ്വാഗതം സാർ.
താങ്ക് യു സെവൻ, താങ്ക് യു.
അതിനോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ നമ്മളുടെ ഈ ഒരു സെഷൻ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനായി നമ്മളുടെ ഈ ഒരു പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിൽ എത്തിച്ചേർന്നിരിക്കുന്ന നിങ്ങൾ ഓരോരുത്തരെയും നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു സെഷനിലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. And on this occasion, I would like to special thanks to Marthoma Educational Charity Society and St. Thomas Central School and St. Thomas Higher Secondary School Trivandrum for supporting this initiative. And നമ്മളുടെ ഈ ഒരു സെഷൻ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന നിങ്ങൾ ഓരോരുത്തരും ഒരു അറിയിപ്പ് കൂടിയുണ്ട്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സിവിൽ സർവീസ് സംബന്ധമായ നിങ്ങളുടെ സംശയങ്ങൾ ചാറ്റ് രൂപത്തിൽ ചോദിക്കാവുന്നതാണ്. അതിൽ നിന്നും തെരഞ്ഞെടുക്കപ്പെടുന്ന ചോദ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് സമയത്തിന്റെ ലഭ്യത അനുസരിച്ച് ഈ ഒരു സെഷനിലൂടെ തന്നെ മറുപടികൾ നൽകുന്നതുമായിരിക്കും. എല്ലാവർക്കും ഏറ്റവും വിജ്ഞാനപ്രദമായ ഒരു സമയം ആശംസിക്കുന്നു. സാർ, നമുക്ക് ആരംഭിക്കാം. സാർ.
Okay, sir. Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible to everyone. I guess. Chatla. Good evening, Nidhi. Okay. Thank you, Karan. See, is there anyone who is not comfortable among you with Malayalam? Because I usually shift between both languages when I speak. Is there anyone who does not understand Malayalam? Only people who do not understand Malayalam need reply. Okay, fine. Rahel does not understand Malayalam. Okay, fine. Okay, so I'll just so in case I sometimes may crack one joke in Malayalam or something like that, which only Malayalis may understand. Kindly forgive that. Otherwise, it will mostly be English. So I guess all of you are from school level, or all of you are school children, right? I think from which standard, which is the lowest? I just want to ask. 8th to 12th, or even below 8th? 8th. Okay, nice. 7th, 10th. Okay, 10, 9. Just to get an idea, 12th. Okay, 6th. In a way, it's nice. In a way, it's nice to know that people are thinking about their careers well ahead of time. It's great. Because frankly, for me, I had not chosen my career even when I was in 12th, I guess. That was the case. I'm not an IAS officer. I'm a person who trains people in civil service examination. So to become an IAS officer, you have to clear this examination, which is conducted by the Union Public Service Commission. We call it as UPSC. I train people to clear the UPSC examination. I've been doing this job for like the past 6 years. And I have had a few successful students, a lot of successful students actually, over the few years. Some of you may know Remit Chennithala. Remit Chennithala, the surname itself should tell you who he is. He is Ramesh Chennithala's son. Remit Chennithala was my first student after I started taking mentoring. And he cleared. Where some of you might have heard of this lady known as Sridhanya Suresh. Sridhanya was the first person from tribal community to clear IAS examination. I was the personal mentor of Remit, Sridhanya. Last year there was Safna Nasruddin, Devi Nandana, etc. as well. So I was the personal mentor for all of them. So I'm a person who mentors people, who helps people clear the civil service examination. And the civil service examination is considered to be the toughest examination on the planet Earth, in a way. It's considered to be the toughest examination. I will give my Gmail, I will give my contacts at the end of this, don't worry. Okay, so that's giving another brief introduction about what I do. So today's session is, I'm going to be talking about the civil service examination to you guys. And what it takes to clear the examination. So you would obviously not be able to immediately attempt civil service examination. You'll have to have a degree for that as well. So one thing you can do is you can prepare for civil service examination from this age. Now, Safna Nazaruddin, Safna is now Assistant Collector Malappuram. She secured the 45th rank in civil service examination last year in her first attempt. So she is 22, 23 years of age. 23 years of age, and she is Assistant Collector Malappuram. 1 year later, she would be Sub-Collector in Kerala. At 24 years of age. 24. Yep. So how did she crack on the first attempt? More than anything else, she had started preparing from her school days itself. She knew she wanted to be a civil servant from her school days itself. And she prepared accordingly, and she cleared. And now she is an assistant collector under training in Malappuram. I'll talk to you about the training in Mussoorie as well. I'll be talking to you about a lot of things about civil service examination, but my first focus would be on introducing you how this examination is going to be, or what you need to expect in this examination in its present format. So I'll quickly run through that. I'll quickly run through a few slides, and which will probably make you understand that what you need, or most of the things you need to clear the civil service examination, would be the very same notes or the textbooks which you are having now. So see, I will, that's enough. So I'll just quickly tell you how this session is going to be. The first part, I'm going to be talking about the examination. I'm going to be quickly running through some books as well. Mainly, you will figure out that whatever you need to clear the examination already you probably have. And then we will actually talk about what you can do to clear this examination and how life would be after you clear this examination. So with that being in mind, I'll just quickly go to the slides which I want to start. Okay, so I'm going to be quickly running through the slide. Then I'm going to be taking question answers from you about the examination, about career as a civil servant. See, career as a civil servant, probably we'll have another session with a civil servant actually. I'm going to be focusing on how you can clear the examination. Okay, so let's roll. First, I'll quickly run through an overview. How to apply. See, every year UPSC Civil Service Examination is an examination which takes over a year to complete. Actually, last year's examination is yet to complete due to COVID. So we have not yet finished last year's examination. That's why you don't have the civil servants for this year, civil service results for this year. So we would probably having the results only in September end for this year's exam. Not this year, but last year's exam. It is due to COVID. So the interviews were postponed. They are supposed to restart in August. So usually what happens is every February, UPSC brings out this notification about that year's examination. As I said, it's an examination which runs for 1 full year. The examination, the exam to become an IAS officer. You clear this examination, you get top rank, you become an IAS officer. You get the top 100 rank, you become an IAS officer in this. So in February, UPSC brings out a notification. What is the qualification you need? You just need a degree. You need a degree certificate. You need a degree from any college, even an IGNOU would be fine, but you need a degree certificate, a valid degree certificate, and you can apply for this examination. Age limits. So for general candidates who do not have any reservation, the age limit is 32 years. The minimum age limit is 21 and the maximum age limit for appearing is 32 years. there are some relaxations, age relaxations, which are available for people who can avail reservations like OBC, SC/ST, disabled, etc., or people with disabilities. They have some relaxations in the age limits. But for general candidates, underserved candidates, the age limit is 32. Centers of examination for prelims, there are 3 centers in Kerala. For mains, there is 1 center. Interview or the personality test is held in Delhi. Medium of examination, it's generally most aspirants write the examination in English. There is also the option of writing the examination in a regional language, say Hindi or even Malayalam, if you're not comfortable in English. Stages of examination, there are 3 stages of examination: prelims, mains, interview. So these are the 3 stages of examination. Now, civil service examination is regarded as one of the toughest examinations in the world. Also, the rewards match the toughness. See, there is no other examination in this world which would appoint you straight to the middle level of government. So if you clear this examination, if you're an IAS officer, your first posting would be as sub-collector. Assistant collector as training. After that, you are sub-collector. A part of the district would be under you. IPS officer, your first posting is as assistant commissioner. IRS, assistant commissioner income tax, assistant commissioner customs. So that is the essential, in a way, the beauty of this examination. So I had, see, Sridhanya is undergoing training. She's still here in Kerala because she can't go to Mussoorie for training, phase 2 training, but she was assistant collector Kozhikode for 1 year. Safna is now assistant collector Malappuram. Indian Foreign Service is also selected through this. I have a couple of my students now in Spain, in the Indian consulate there. So stages ne kurichu paranju. E exam is actually, it consists of 3 stages or 3 exams. First stage is a preliminary examination. Now, preliminary examination is actually an MCQ examination, multiple choice questions examination. Okay. So MCQs, I think pretty much everyone in 12th should be familiar with MCQs. You should be preparing for one entrance or the other, I guess. Okay. I'd also cleared a couple of entrances in my time as well. So MCQ, the prelims is MCQ, and the preliminary examination has its syllabus. So you can see the syllabus here. Paper 1 syllabus is, there are 2 papers of prelims, by the way. Paper 1 includes current events of national and international importance. Second, history of India and Indian national movement. Indian and world geography. So Indian polity and governance, economic and social development, general issues and environment, ecology, general science. See, except probably the first portion. Remaining everything is pretty much what you study till 10th. And people who have taken a humanities background in 12th will probably be studying these things in 12th as well. So it's essentially what you do. And as you can see, one of the most important resources for prelims is the NCERT books. Okay, so one of the major resources you can have are NCERTs. So the stronger you are in NCERT, see, even for people who come to us after clearing your degree, what we ask them is to go and study NCERTs first. NCERTs of all these topics, NCERTs of history, geography, polity and governance, economic and social development, environment, ecology, and science. So these NCERTs will make you better. And these NCERTs are your basic. It is your basics based on which you can improve upon. Okay. There are other books as well. But for you people, specifically people in school, the other book, other important source is the Hindu or a newspaper. An English newspaper or an English magazine Magazine could be The Week, Frontline, Outlook, etc. But see, English newspaper is preferred because we are writing this exam in English. And at the present moment, the only newspaper we have available, which helps aspirants, is the Hindu. So someone asked like how to read the newspaper effectively. For you people in school, read every part of the newspaper. Just read. Just understand things. For you people, actually, you need not even read the Hindu. If you're not comfortable, you can read Malayalam Manorama. Just read. Just read a newspaper. You need not make notes or anything like that at the moment because you're not going to write the exam next year. Rather, you're probably going to do it after your degree. Right? So you just need to read the newspaper. Just keep abreast with what's happening around you. See, our country is a democracy. Understand how the democratic process works. We just recently had an election for Kerala, kind of like the first time in a long time that a front came back to power. Understand why it happened. Understand things around you. The positives and negatives which the government does. And what are the agencies which can control the government? Learn that, learn about that. Actually, it is pretty important because we find that many people are not aware of how our government system works. And if I believe all of you are interested in joining the civil services of India, and civil services are critical because see, it is because of civil services that this country has not broken down. See, there were many countries which got independence along with India. But India is the only country which remains a democracy 75 years after its independence. The main reason for that is the strong civil service background which we have, which has supported our democracy in all of these 75 years. So that's about the books. Then there's a paper two. Paper two at the present moment is a ranking paper, meaning you just need to score 66.5 marks out of 200 in this paper in order to qualify. It is not a ranking paper. Paper two is not a ranking paper. Only paper one is a ranking paper. Either the maximum marks you score in paper one, that determines whether you clear prelims or not. Paper two is a qualifying paper. You just need 66.5 marks out of 200 to qualify. And it is an aptitude test. Again, most of you would be very familiar with this. Basic numeracy, data interpretation, mental ability, comprehension, reading comprehensions. I believe you have to do reading comprehensions in your English as well. That's paper two. You just need to score 66.5 marks in this paper. You clear prelims, then you are selected for writing the mains examination. The mains examination is a descriptive test. That is, it's exactly like your board exams. It's exactly like your board exams. So you have paper A and paper B, which you score 300 marks each. Then you have papers to be counted for merit. Okay, so paper A and paper B are qualifying papers. They are language papers. So paper E is a language in your regional language. So it can be Malayalam or Hindi, usually. If your regional language or the language you're comfortable in is something else, you write in that language. Paper B is an English paper. Just need to score 75 marks in each of these papers to qualify. If you do not score 75 marks, the rest of the papers, there are 7 papers remaining, they will not be counted. So that's what's meant by a qualifying paper in mains. So paper A and paper B are qualifying papers. So you look at the papers to be counted for merit. First, we have essay. It's a general essay. You people will be writing essays for your board exam. Again, I think I had to write essay for my English paper. The pass mark for paper A and paper B is 75. Is 75. I hope I don't have my stylus now. Try to There you go, 75. Then you have general essay paper, 250 marks. General studies paper 1, where you have, these are the 3 topics for it: Indian heritage and culture, history, Indian history and world history, geography of the world and society, Indian society. General studies paper 2, governance, constitution, polity, social justice and international relations. General studies paper 3, technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, security and disaster management. Paper 4, ethics, integrity and aptitude. And after that, you have 2 optional papers. That is, you can select an optional paper. There are 28 options available. For a normal aspirant, there are 28 options available. You can select one option among that. And you have 2 papers in that, 250 marks each. And totally, you have 1750 marks, 1750 marks for written mains. The highest scorers will get selected for the next stage, which is personality test. So personality test is for 275 marks. Your final rank would be 1750 plus 275 out of 2025 marks. For 2025 maximum mark you score. You might be wondering how much marks you need to score. Clear. Actually, if you score 1000 marks, you'd probably be in like what, top 100 or top 10 even on most years. So if you score 50% marks in this examination, you are a national topper. It's quite different from board exams in that regard. Quickly go through the papers, paper A and paper B. This is what you will find in paper A and paper B. Then you have essay. You have to write 2 essays. So essentially, there would be 2 sections, and you have to write 1 essay from each section in this. There's a word limit, 1500 words per essay. You have to write 1 essay from each section in this. There's a word limit, 1500 words per essay. And 3 hours to write the essay in. So effective and exact expression gets marks. General studies paper 1, you have topics like Indian heritage and culture. Indian heritage and culture, you have to learn about art and culture, Indian art and culture, modern Indian history, history of the world after 1757 till present, geography of India and the world, Indian society. So these are the topics in paper 1. In paper 2, you learn about Indian governance, the constitution, the governance structures, political system of India. Also learn about social justice, government policies, interventions for development, and international relations, specifically India's bilateral relations and India's involvement in international organizations as well. General studies paper 3, you have to deal with economics, economic development, science and technology, biodiversity, environment, internal security, disaster management, etc. So again, a lot of these things you would be learning in your classes, in your school time itself. Most of you would be very conversant with science and tech. Thing is, here you have to write it. So they will not ask you like, what do we learn in +2? They will not ask you about the first and second laws of thermodynamics, Pascal's law, deriving the resistance for inductors, etc. That's what we had to learn in our +2. I hope it's similar to you people as well. So they won't ask you that. They would ask you about technology and technological interventions mainly. Biodiversity, environment, which is a very important factor. Internal security. So we are a country which faces different and varied internal security threats. There's questions on that. The final paper is ethics, integrity, aptitude. So ethics is essentially the study of the rightness and wrongness of human actions. It is the it's the science of rightness and wrongness of human actions. So you study human actions in ethics. So there is an ethics in philosophy, but that's not what the demand is here in this examination. The demand is for administrative ethics. It has nothing to do with philosophical aspect of ethics. It's administrative ethics. Because as an administrator, how do you perform in a particular situation? Are you able to distinguish between right and wrong in a particular situation? What are the values which guide your actions? That's what is meant. That's what we try to figure out in this paper. So it's mainly a public administration paper. So, this exam is for selecting public administrators. So it's essentially a public administration paper. This. Okay. So these are some of the sources not needed for you. For you people, the main source should be your newspaper, a good magazine, and NCRTs. You can probably look at it. These magazines, probably you can read Frontline, Down to Earth, The Week, etc. That's all what you need to do now. Okay. Heavy item vaikenda. These are the optional subjects. I've highlighted some of the popular optional subjects like anthropology, history, Malayalam, geography, political science and international relations, public administration, sociology, etc. So these are some of the most popular optional subjects. Okay. I'm quickly going on. How to choose your optional, high scoring, overlap with GS, guidance and mentorship, peer group, your interests. See, the papers which I showed you, general studies, there are 4 general studies papers and 2 optional papers. You clear mains, you go to your interview or personality test. Before you go to a personality test, you're supposed to fill in a detailed application form. A detailed application form is kind of like a resume. You have to fill in your educational background, your work experience if there is any, your experience in extracurricular activities, sports, and also your hobbies. By hobbies, I mean things which you take up with genuine interest, not pastime hobbies. Also, if you are a college level or district level player at some sport, football or cricket, that counts. NCC counts. So mostly the questions would be based on 2 things. One, it would be from your DAF, your detailed application form. They would want to know about what kind of a person you are. 2, they will also ask about the current events happening over there and your views on those current events. They're trying to assess the personal suitability of the candidate for a career in public service. The personal suitability of a candidate for a career in public service. And they also judge the mental caliber of a candidate. Okay. See, basically, they will not ask a lot of questions which are running around in WhatsApp. I'll give you that. But there is this like one very famous WhatsApp question, like how many steps did you see? There is this like WhatsApp question that one the candidate at the first chodichu that how many steps did you climb to reach this room? And the question under WhatsApp will forward. Okay. The thing is, this UPSC interview is held in the first floor. It's in the first floor of Dolpur House of the UPSC headquarters. I've been there 3 times for interview. Okay. I've just missed out by 10 marks. Okay. So I know that question would never be asked. There are questions which were asked to Remit and Sridhanya, which are doing rounds on internet. And I know that being the person who trained them for interview as well, I know they were not the first questions asked to them at all. So they will simply ask, see, for example, Sridhanya was asked, Sridhanya's hobby was archery. So the question was like, would you be performing archery for us? Something like that. That's the first question. See, they try to first make you comfortable. Then they'll ask questions to know more about you. That's the whole idea. The whole idea is not like, to select some really awesome people. People who clear civil services are normal people. They are not looking for ready-made, like super awesome people on like that. No, they're looking for people whom they can mold into civil service. Okay. That's a point. This is what comes in your DAF. So you look at leadership held in school or college. So if you are a school leader or a school prefect, matters here. Also in college. I think mostly now they ask about college. So you pass this, you go into college, try to take up leadership positions in college. That'd be good. Extracurricular activities, interests, NCC, games, sports, all of these carry marks. See, they won't carry marks. They are all of interest in your DAF. So what you can do now is you can try to fill these things up. You can work on these things straight away. These are the various services for allotment. So you have Indian Administrative Service, which is the crown jewel, the most important of all services, the most powerful of all services. Foreign Service, some people asked about it. It's also a very romantic service. Police Service, see, mainly people of my generation are enamored by administrative and police service, mainly because of two movies which came out in our childhood, like The King, Commissioner, etc. Even though the actual role is completely different now. Indian Revenue Service, IT, Revenue Service, Customs and Central Excise, two brilliant services because essentially we are becoming one of the richest countries in the world. And these people deal with taxes, your taxes, they check whether you pay your taxes on time or not and stuff. Indian Audit and Account Service, Indian Post and Telegraphs, Accounts and Services, so Indian Information Service, Trade Service, Corporate Law Service. Then we have three railway services, Railway Traffic, Railway Accounts and Railway Personnel Service. Indian Ordnance Factory Service, Assistant Secretary Commissioner for Railway Protection Force, Defense Estate Service, Armed Forces Headquarters Civil Service Group B, DANF Civil Service, DANF Police Service Group B, etc. So essentially these are the services for allotment. These are the services which are available for you. The top rankers go to Administrative Service, Foreign Service and Police Service. The lower your rank is, you get Revenue Service. Even below that, you go to Audit and Account Service, like that. All these services are really good. Administrative Service is technically more powerful because their service conditions are pretty good because you get empaneled pretty early. Some of my close friends are collectors now in various districts in Tamil Nadu. You can give your preferences based on your interest, but the final allocation will be based on your rank. So if you have high rank, you get the service you want. If you have low rank, you get the service they give you. But either service you get, it's got to be really good. Some tips. Okay. So I'll come to your questions. Okay, don't worry, I'm seeing your questions. I'll come to it at the end of this. So life of a civil servant. Okay. So at least one of this person, I hope, would be familiar to you if you're following news and all. Okay, but this person, I think most of you are from St. Thomas, I guess. Right? So I guess a lot of you recognizes PB Nu, ex-collector Pathanamthitta. The person who is giving his handshake is one of my best friends. He is now collector of Erode district in Tamil Nadu. This guy is Krishnanunni Harikumar. He used to be a Santhomite, St. Thomas Residential Head Boy Academy. He is an ex-Santhomite. He is your senior in your school. So for people in St. Thomas school specifically, because I have been told that a lot of you are from St. Thomas. So this guy is from St. Thomas. Okay, so he is your senior by a few years prior. Okay, and he is now the collector of Erode district. Okay. And PB Nu, yes, ex-collector from Pathanamthitta. He is Krishnanunni's batchmate. Okay, someone wanted the tips slide. Okay, I'll just quickly go through it. This is not necessarily for you guys, but you can. The focus is always on mains because prelims you just clear. Mains determines your rank. You memorize the syllabus. You read the same sources multiple times rather than multiple sources only once. You prepare separate notes for each GS paper for quick revision. And you read the newspaper, preferably the Hindu, daily. Okay. Hindu because mostly you'd be writing your exam in English, and Hindu is the best paper for that. Writing practice is essential. You need not start it now. but you can read the newspaper. You can get awareness about what's happening around you. You can get awareness about the various topics like history, geography, society, etc. before you clear your degree itself. That's something you can do. So I'm going on here. So this is Mr. Hamid Ansari, Vice President. So this is in training. You get to meet the Vice President of India. You also get to meet the President of India. Yeah. Football fans, if they're any, this is another friend of mine, Nirmal Joy. He's a Deputy Commissioner now in IRS Customs. So during his training, he got to go to Europe and he got to visit AC Milan's stadium, San Siro. Another person, this is Sri Vishak. He is also my college junior. So he is now a Deputy Commissioner of Income Tax, now based in Bhubaneswar. And he's a cricket player as well. So he won the best player award in the tournament there. And look who is giving him the award. This is Irfan Pathan. See, my friends in IRS usually say that, see, Irfan Pathan pays taxes. Dulquer Salman, Mammootty, everyone pays taxes. So what they do is, see, if they want a guest, they will just dial Dulquer Salman or Mammootty. They will come down. You don't want to get on the wrong side of a revenue service officer. So this is Irfan Pathan. This is Albie John. Albie's story has been covered at least a couple of times in Manorama itself in the last year or so. So I don't think I need to explain who this is. This is our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi. See, last year, 2019, the Honorable Prime Minister came down to Chennai for a meet with Xi Jinping, the Premier, the Honorable Premier of the Chinese Republic. So the next day morning, Mr. Prime Minister went for a morning walk, and during morning walk, he collected waste. This thing is known as plogging. We call this thing as plogging. P-L-O-G-G-I-N-G. So while jogging, you collect waste. Now, where did Mr. Prime Minister get this idea? He got it from Albie. So Albie is a very famous blogger in Chennai. Now he has left Chennai. Yesterday he took charge as collector of Tiruvallur district in Tamil Nadu. So during the interaction, it was Albie who gave the idea of blogging, and Mr. Prime Minister followed it, became news, and Albie became famous in media as well. Albie has also been famous for many other initiatives he's been doing. For example, he created a forest in the middle of Chennai city, a Miyawaki forest in the middle of Chennai city. So following that, at least I think both the fronts in Kerala election have also promised Miyawaki forests in here in various cities in Kerala as well. So it starts from one officer, Malayalian. He's a Malayali. He got 4th rank in 2013. Is now taken charge as collector of Tiruvallur district. So this is what you can influence the Prime Minister of the country. You can influence the Chief Minister of the country, of the state. So that is, you can implement policies. You can create a Miyawaki forest in the middle of Chennai city, one of the most congested cities in the country, if you are an IAS officer. That is the life you can have. This I'm not needed for you guys. This is for our advantage. So that's pretty much what I had to tell you about the examination and the life in civil services. I hope I was able to convey a bit. Now I'll take your questions, which I believe is more important now. Miyawaki forest is a Japanese forest, and should you know, yes, it is very good. It's a Japanese technique to build forests in city. How much marks do we need to clear the personality tests? There is no minimum mark. You'll anyways get around 100 marks. But ideally, you should score around above 150, 160 to get a good rank. Magazine slide, Amrit, I'm sorry, but the magazines you should be looking at is, you know, the week, Frontline, or Down to Earth, etc. Don't make notes of newspaper at the moment. Just read the newspaper. Get interested in different things. See, if you study newspaper straight away, it will become a burden. Do not study. Just enjoy it. Just try to imbibe it. Get interested in different aspects of it. Okay. If you're interested, the studies become very easy. From which class onward should we approach IAS coaching centers? See, Manorama Horizon is conducting a foundation course. You can join the foundation course. We are providing faculty for that. Fortune IAS Academy, my academy is providing faculty for that. You can join that if you want to, straight away, I guess. Other than that, if you want an IAS coaching, do it only after your degree. Which is the best stream to take after 10th, which will be helpful in clearing this examination? See, do not put your questions in chat, please put it in Q&A. I'm just looking at some chat questions which I saw. So which is the best stream? There is no best stream. Some people would say humanities, it really does not matter. You can take humanities, you can take science as well. It really does not matter. Okay, because you can come to the exam after all of this and clear. Essentially what the UPSC wants is UPSC wants you to have a campus life. UPSC wants you to have a proper campus life. Enjoy the campus, learn from the campus. That UPSC wants. So that you can do as well, you know. So there is no compulsion on taking any particular stream. Can you give an example of ethics? See, suppose you are a civil servant and you come to know of an illegal thing which is happening, and you have the proof to prove that it is illegal, but it is done by your boss. Your boss would get trapped in this. If you go public, your boss would get trapped. So what would be your course of action? That is an example of ethics. So course of action would be your example of ethics. Do we have to know about India and its international trade deals? Not all, but some of them, yes. I think I covered that. I'll come to the Q&A questions now. How much qualification is needed to get an IFS? I believe you're talking about Indian Foreign Service. You just need a degree and you need to clear the examination with a top rank. Because E-version, this year, the IFS, of the 17 people who got IFS this year, 5 are Malayalis. So all of them got their ranks in the hundreds. So Devi Nandana, a person I talked about, she's an IFS officer. So if I take my degree BBA, will I be able to crack the UPSC exam? Other than civil service. So you would be able to get civil service. See, civil service just requires you to have one degree. Does not say which degree. Because essentially this is a generalist public administration service. They are recruiting for generalist public administrators. So they will recruit from all the streams. There is no peculiar stream. The only requirement UPSC has is that you need to clear their examination, which is tough enough. So if you clear UPSC's examination, that is proof enough that you are good enough to be a civil servant. That's it. Who is my favorite IAS officer? See, there are many favorite IAS officers I have here. There is no one person. But even if I say it, I don't think you people will understand. You people will know the person. He's a Tamil Nadu cadre officer. He's a Malayali, but you may not know. I only met him once. And a couple of my friends are also really awesome IAS officers. Okay, because I talked to you about Albie John right now, I guess. So he's one of my best friends. He's developing into my favorite IAS officer now as well, Albie. In Kerala cadre, there is an IAS officer, Chitra. She is now the project director for setting up the vaccination plant in Trivandrum. She's not a person who gets into media quite a lot, but really hardworking. But an awesome officer. Okay, so Chitra is another very favorite of my IAS officers. I think, what are the small steps you can take as a 12-year-old? Great question, Neha. Great question. See, obviously, that's a realization that you can't really probably write the examination next year. There are few things you can do. First is you read. See, as a 12-year-old, as a school child, you read. You get to read a lot of things. You get to read newspapers. You get to read fiction and non-fiction books. Read. Keep aware about the world around you. First thing. Second, take part in as many extracurricular activities as you can as well. Take part in sports. If you're good in some sport, great. If you're not, at least take part. Also, take part in organizing fests. Take part in competitions. You might get 1 or 2 prizes. That's fine. If you don't get a prize, that's also fine. But take part. It's have a life beyond just the books you have in your classroom. Okay. Study well, at the same time, take part in other activities as well. That's what I'm talking about. So they are small steps you can take. These things, as a 12-year-old, they will help you develop a well-rounded personality. Now, I talked about an IAS officer, right? A Santhamite, Krishnanunni എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു IAS officer കാര്യം ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു. Now, Krishnanunniയുടെ അമ്മ, his mom, she's like a mom to me as well. So one of the dialogues she said, like, only Malayalis will be able to understand that. മലയാളത്തിലാണ് പറഞ്ഞത്. So കിച്ചു എന്നാ വിളിക്കുന്നത്. കിച്ചു IAS ആയത്, he became IAS at 25 years. അവൻ 1 വർഷം സിവിൽ സർവീസ് പഠിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് മാത്രമല്ല, അവന്റെ 25 വർഷത്തെ ലൈഫാണ് അവൻ IAS ആക്കിയെന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So as a 12-year-old, you have time ahead of you to learn, to know, to experience the world. You can be part of NCC. You can be part of NSS in college. You can take part in different activities in college. NSS എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നാഷണൽ സർവീസ് സ്കീമാണ്. You can be part of NSS, National Service Scheme in college. You can be part of different agencies. You can conduct fests. You can take part in different extracurricular activities as well. Okay. So those are the things. I hope I'm clear about that. But someone asked a question about what is the minimum rank to get IAS. For a general candidate, you have to get within 100 minimum. To get IAS as a general candidate, you have to get within 100 ranks, ideally within 80 ranks. Sir, can we stay in one state for service, or every time we need to go to another district without our interest? See, this is a question which has come. Can we stay in one state? IAS and IPS are what we call as all India services. Indian Administrative Service and Indian Police Service are all India services. So for them, if you get IAS, you would be assigned a state cadre. So you would probably remain in that cadre for the rest of your life. Life alla, your career at least. I talked about Albie John. Albie John is Tamil Nadu cadre. You talked about Nu sir. PB Nu is Kerala cadre. So his entire career in civil service would be in Kerala. Indian Revenue Service, Indian Foreign Service is what you call as the central services. The central services, essentially, you would be posted anywhere in India. So you have to be ready to be posted anywhere in India. It might not be your interest all the time. So if you are a civil servant, be prepared to work anywhere in India. Is there any memorizing technique for remembering the topics? See, there are memorizing techniques which I use, but I think I need an extra class to take that. I think there was this one class by Arun sir, 7, right? but I don't think it was for you guys. There was a session which we conducted, learning how to learn. So that was, I think probably Arun sir would have touched upon some of these memorizing techniques. But essentially that takes another class. But one essential way, one of the simplest ways to memorize, the best way to memorize is revision. Make sure you revise with extra gap. So you revise something 1 week later after studying it. After that, revise something 1 month later after studying it. Increase the gap. That's the best way to memorize, revision. How many months of current affairs should we be aware of? For civil service examination, essentially, mostly the year before the examination, 1 year before the examination. There could be odd questions coming from 2 years before the examination as well. Is coaching important for clearing the examination? At the present moment, Ghanshyam, yes. Good coaching is essential for clearing the examination. Because it's such a competitive examination, it would be good to have some coaching and guidance. Because it's very competitive nowadays. So what are the qualifications for Indian Economic Services? Indian Economic Services, if you want to clear Indian Economic Services, you need to have a postgraduate degree in economics. So Indian Economic Service requires a postgraduate degree in economics. They are the people who try for it, but the number of seats are pretty less. It's a separate exam. It is not the exam which I talked about. Because essentially it's a specialist exam. It's not a generalist. What powers do IAS have over IPS? See, depends. See, if powers over another service will depend on your posting mainly, not your service. You would have heard of this you would have heard of this person, Chief Secretary. Now, Chief Secretary is usually an IAS officer, and he is the head of civil services in a state. Chief Secretary is the head of civil services in a state. He is usually an IAS officer. So he would have power over the DGP, the head of police, and every other civil servant in the state. Similarly, we have Cabinet Secretary at the central level. Cabinet Secretary is the head of civil services at the national level. And he is also an IAS officer. So essentially that is how it works. Remaining, it depends on the posting. For example, in a town with commissionerate system, Kerala iduvare illa commissionerate system. In a commissionerate system, the commissioner's post is more important and more powerful than the collector in that town. So it works both ways. But essentially the people at the real top are usually IAS officers. Are the roles of IAS changing? If yes, are they making it better or worse? See, better on the worse one. But IAS still holds enormous amount of power. They are the people who run the country, simple as that. And they hold law and order responsibility, revenue collecting responsibility, also developmental responsibility, along with many other miscellaneous responsibilities. So these three roles are already there with the IAS officers, which make the position very important always. There'll be good things and there'll be bad things, but it's always important. Sir, I am an NRI student on grade 9 in CBSE curriculum. That's fine. I have at least 2 students who are going for interview this year who have studied abroad. But I've taken French instead of Hindi. That's also fine. Will I be able to attempt UPSC examination? 100% yes. You'd be able to attempt. Okay. You just need to have a degree, by the way. That's it. Can I study Hindi or Malayalam outside curriculum and attempt UPSC? Yes. See, Hindi or Malayalam, you just need for one paper. That is a qualifying paper. A qualifying paper essentially വായിക്കാനും എഴുതാനും അറിയാമെങ്കിൽ you're clear. You can take separate coaching for that at that point of time. need not separately study it. Obviously, you can take some extra coaching to read and write, but I think you know how to read and write at least Hindi or Malayalam. So French is absolutely fine. How much time do we need to spend as students on preparation? Do not spend extra time. Read newspapers daily. I think you can do that. Read books daily. So do not keep like as a preparation. Okay. You should know, you already know the syllabus, right? You need to learn history, geography. So you learn all these things. You can probably also take part in quizzes. So quizzing is there. So you can take part in quizzing. You can have quizzing societies. You can have literary and debate societies as well. So you can improve your public speaking. You can go for quizzes, improve your knowledge level. Do that. Okay. Do not prepare as such, but try to imbibe this knowledge. Try to learn more and more. Try to get more and more knowledge. Try to get interested in history, polity, and all those things. What is the best motivation you can give to an IAS aspirant? I think I already showed you those slides, right? See, the Prime Minister of this country listens to you. Yeah? The Prime Minister, the most powerful person in the country, listens to your advice. What more motivation do you need? The Chief Minister of the state listens to your advice. You would be regarded as a hero if you do well. So everyone recognized PB Noor. Why? Of the work he did during the flood and Corona, right? He is not the most famous civil servant in his family. I hope you know that. His brother, elder brother, PB Salim, is an even more famous civil servant. He's now the advisor to the West Bengal Chief Minister. Some of his interventions during COVID received nationwide attention. Okay. That's what you're looking at. Okay. That's what you can be if you become IAS. Can you brief about training in Mussoorie? See, at the present moment, after clearing civil services, usually during September every year, there is something, September to December, we have something known as foundation course. So in foundation course, members of all services would be invited, not just IAS. That'd be for 2 months. However, that's quite a lot of fun actually. You go on treks, you conduct fests in Mussoorie, etc. So it's really fun. It's after December that your real phase 1 training starts. So in Mussoorie, the training is only given for IAS officers. IPS officers are trained in Hyderabad in Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy. IRS officers, the income tax revenue officers, are trained in Nagpur in Central Board of Direct Taxes. The revenue service officers of customs and central excise are trained in Faridabad. And first you have a phase 1 training. I'll just talk about IAS now. The phase 1 training is from January to May. By that time, you would be assigned state cadres. State cadres would be assigned based on your rank. It's a bit of complicated system at the moment. It's a zone system. But it is not, if I explain it to you, you would get confused. So I'm not talking about that, but you would be assigned cadres based on your rank. That's the simplest way to put it. So your state cadre would be known. In May, you would be sent to your state. Suppose you're in Kerala, Malayali, you need not study Malayalam. But if you go to another state, you do not know the language there, you'd be given training in the local language. If you go to Tamil Nadu, you'll be trained in Tamil or Kannada. So that's the thing. That is a phase 2. And after that, after this slide training and all, you would be posted as an assistant collector of a district for 10 months. So your first training posting is an assistant collector. And where you would be given some responsibilities, you would be made to train, etc. And after 10 months, you'd have to go back to Missouri for your phase 3 training. Again, it's classroom training. It usually comes with a foreign attachment. After phase 3 training, you'd be posted in the center as assistant secretary in one of the central departments in Delhi. After 2 months of being posted as an assistant secretary, you would be sent back to your parent cadre, your state cadre. And after which you will get your first posting as sub collector. So this is the initial training. There is in career training and Sheshon. So hopefully I made some clarity about that. Sir, I am an ICSE student. So here for us, we study a different book and not NCERT books. Is that going to be a problem? It's not going to be a big problem. No. Because one of the books which I showed is your book, I guess. J.C. Leong is an ICSE book. J.C. Leong is a book which is recommended for geography. So you study based on your requirement. Okay. So if you have to read NCERT, you will read it, right? You can read NCERT at that time. So I don't think it's going to be a problem as such. Minimum rank for IAS for OBC, I think you're talking about the maximum rank. If you have OBC reservation, you can get IAS if you get 250, 260 rank. Close to 300 rank. I think 300 over a point. Yeah. Can you suggest some books for 13-year-olds? What books will I suggest? Yeah. You can read about Bipan Chandra's India's struggle for independence, probably. You can probably also read about Sapiens and all those books. Yuval Noah Harari's Sapiens is another book you can probably read. Would there be a drawback if you studied abroad and want to write civil service? No, no drawback. I already know people who have studied abroad and have got civil services. IFS or IAS, which is better? I already said IAS is way better. Can you give us some examples of the topics have been asked for essay? So you can get it online. I'll give you a couple of examples. One was the quick and steady wins the race. That's one topic which I wrote on. What else? If development is not engendered, it would be endangered. That is specific. So what is the difference between Group A and Group B? Group A services are like the top services, the real top services. Group B services are the bottom, just below that. How many chances are there? At the present moment, you have 6 chances. Indian Statistical Service, it is similar to Indian Economic Service. You need a postgraduate degree in statistics. Top position of IAS national level already said that Cabinet Secretary. Sir, if I take MBBS as a degree, will I be able to get IFS foreign? Yes, you can. You can. I have MBBS people who have been. So last year, 50th rank was Dr. Arun. He's an MBBS degree holder, now an IAS officer. Otherwise, then if you get your MBBS rank, you can also be a IFS officer as well. Foreign degree allowed, you will have to produce an equivalence degree here. So only go for those places where there is an equivalence or acceptance in India. Is the foundation course online? Yes, the foundation course is online, Vismaya. IPS or IFS? IFS, foreign service is better. Is it compulsory for IAS officers to know the local language? Yes, it is compulsory. Otherwise, you will not be given permanent posting there. Will state syllabus affect general CAT students? General category students? No. See, essentially, you have to learn the same things to clear, right? And you essentially you start preparing 1 year before the exam dedicatedly to clear the service. What is the main subject we should learn for becoming an IAS? See, there is no one main subject. General studies is 4 subjects. I've already shown you that. If you're talking about optionals, I've already showed you that there are 28 optionals. You can choose one of those optionals. It may or may not be your degree. Okay. Optionals and you can study separately. Usually the most popular optionals, if you say public administration or sociology, the degrees are not very popular, right? So you can be an engineer and then you can study public administration and then you can clear as well. So what level of mathematics should we have to study for UPSC exam? Is it degree level? 10th level, unless you are taking mathematics as your optional, 10th is more than enough. Sir, I'm an NRI student. How can I take examination? So you can take, for taking the examination, you have to come over here. You just need to get a degree, which is recognized in India. You can take the degree from Indian University or from a foreign university. You just need to get an equivalent certificate if you are taking the degree from a foreign university. You can only write the exam from India. So you can prepare from abroad and come over to India and then write it. Train and practice, learn the syllabus, learn the things in the syllabus, come over and write. You can take help, online course under. What is the book which will help us to be an IAS? There is no one book, Advait. There are multiple books. You need to know different things, right? You need to know about history. You need to know about geography. So you need to know about all those things. History, I've mentioned about Bipin Chandra's book. Similarly, there are good books which talk about geography. I used to be a reader of National Geographic magazine. So these things can help. Can we get sample papers of previous year's question papers? Yes. The previous year's question papers are available all over internet. I am someone who is not fluent in Malayalam. How much harder will it be for me? Not very hard. See, you should be fluent in one regional language. If you are fluent in Hindi, not even fluent, you just need to know how to read and write Hindi. You can clear the Hindi qualifying paper. You just need to qualify, or you just need to clear one qualifying paper in a regional language. That's it. There is no other requirement for a regional language. After clearing the examination, probably you will have to do a local language course. That's after clearing. What is asked in a qualifying paper? You will have to write an essay. There is translation paragraphs. There is one paragraph you have to translate from English to Malayalam, Malayalam to English. Preci writing, ചുരുക്കെഴുത്തെന്ന് പറയും. വലിയൊരു paragraph വന്നിട്ട് you have to reduce it. Then some usage, വാക്യത്തിൽ പ്രയോഗിക്കുക, വിപരീതാർത്ഥം, ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ I believe you are familiar with. ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ. Minimum age requirement is 21 years to attempt. Does an officer get demoted if they don't do their job properly? Depends. Demotion is very rare. Very, very rare. Will we be trained in English? See, we don't have, in UPSC, yes, you would be. In civil service training, there would be some training, yes. Which would be the simple subject. I believe you're talking about simple optional. It will depend on the person here. It will depend on the person. Do not listen to people who say that this is easy or something else is easy. It will depend on the person. Right time to start IAS coaching after your degree. Specifically for exam, after your degree is the best time. You can probably do a foundation course, have an idea about things. After your degree, you can start IAS coaching. What actions can a collector take directly on the people? It will depend on the laws, Mohammed Naseem. It will depend on the legal power the collector has and the power which the collector is given. It varies from state to state. So essentially, you are creatures of the constitution, so to speak. The constitution gives certain powers. It also provides certain restrictions on using the power. Because in our country, the people are top. The people are the most powerful. So there will be a lot of things to protect the people. Indian Foreign Service is the diplomatic service. So you get posted at a diplomatic mission somewhere. So consulate people, NRI should at least have know this. You become ambassadors as well at a later part of your career. Sir, for IPS also, is there 3 phases of training? Yes, IPS also has 3 phases of training. Training center for IA and AS. Training center for IA and AS is in Shimla. Is IAS or IFS preferable for women? Both are preferable for women. Yeah? I just mentioned one of my favorite IAS officers is a woman. Okay. Both are preferable. നമ്മുടെ ex health minister പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ പെണ്ണിന് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാത്ത എന്താ? So even IPS is preferable for women. There are some really good IPS officers who are women coming through. So will our marks reduce if we cross word limits while writing an answer in the mains examination? Yes. If you cross the word limit by a substantial amount, yes, your marks will reduce. IFS officer and their posting. IFS are foreign service officers. They are posted outside India. So when you're training for IFS, you'll have to choose a language. So there would be an option of language like Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, etc. So you choose a language. Your first posting would be based on your language. You would be sent to some country. After that, it can be anywhere. But at the present moment, one of the most popular languages is Chinese, because China is the up and coming power in the world. And we are going to deal a lot with the Chinese. So Chinese is very preferable now. If you take Arabic, you'll probably be posted in Middle East. Also, if you take French, you'll be posted in Europe. What is the highest percentage anyone has gotten? You 1,000 something marks here. Doesn't really matter the marks you get. What matters is the rank. It changes from year to year. Qualification for IFS, I already said. Just need to get a rank in UPSC examination. Qualification is any degree would do. But Devi Nandana is an engineer. She's an electrical engineer. Her batchmate Nitin is also an engineer, but different trade. So, couple of guys I know are engineers. If we choose history, it's good. You can choose history as an option. Do we have to give the 2025 mark paper in one sitting? No. It is actually 1,750. The remaining 275 is a personality test. That's your interview. So the UPSC exam happens over 1 week. Okay, 5 days, 1 week. So usually you have a Friday when you have the first exam, general essay. Then Saturday, Sunday are your general studies papers. The next weekend, you have the qualifying papers. And the last day, you have the optional papers, 1 and 2. So it's 5 days essentially. So should we learn only history or will questions? No. I said history, geography, society, political science, economics, science and technology. I thought I showed all those things, right? I was talking about history because it is the easiest thing to come. I think when I talked about books, I also talked about Sapiens. You all know Harari's Sapiens. If you're not read it, do read it. It's a brilliant book. There is How to Stop a Climate Catastrophe by Bill Gates, which has recently come out. It's also a very famous, very good book. Very good read. So these are some of the books which you can read. For coaching, you join up for IAS, civil service examination, full coaching, you join after your degree. You can have a foundation course now with Manorama Horizon. Sir, I'm a Malayalam medium student. Can I become civil service officer? 100%, yeah. I talked about Albi John. Albi John was Malayalam medium. I think PB Nu was also a Malayalam medium student. If my memory is right. He was also Malayalam medium. Many of the civil service officers we have in Kerala are Malayalam medium students. You can easily become civil service officer. If you know Indian language, then you learn an Indian language. So you have time, right? You are just in your 12th. You can learn it. You can learn it. You just need to learn it to clear the exam, right? Can an IAS, IRS or IFS officer engage in media or entertainment appearances despite being a government servant? Yes, you can. You need to get the permission from your superior. You need to get permission from the government to do that. Ippo, Malayalis would know this. Chandana Leba Sugandham or part on. I'm not singing it and destroying the song. It's one of my favorite songs. Vadakan Veera Gadila Chandana Leba Sugandham. Chandana Leba Sugandham is written by an IAS officer, Jayagumar sir, K. Jayagumar. He was a very famous songwriter and poet. He has also he is now into painting as well. So he can do that. You just need to get permission from the government. There are also IAS, IPS officers who have appeared in movies after getting permission from the government. What are the qualifications needed for IFS? I already said that. So if I selected Hindi as my language and for some reason I could not clear, can I change my language to Malayalam? Yes, you can, 100%. Every new attempt is a different this thing. Some motivational books and movies, I don't know. Yeah. The king used to motivate us. Commissioner used to motivate us, but they are completely different from a civil servant or what a civil servant is expected to do now. It's just a masculine discipline. Probably Vikramadityan, Dulquer Salmaan, Unni Mukundan movie, couple of years back. Vikramadityan is probably something which motivates you, I guess. Sir, I've taken biomaths in 11th. Will it be difficult for me to crack IAS? No, not at all. See, I've had doctors as friends, yeah. I have doctors in civil services, a lot of doctors in civil services. So biomaths is nothing. Civil service is an exam which requires certain things. You study those certain things, you'll clear the civil service examination. Simple as that. Language used in the interview, usually English. Usually English. You can select the language, but preferably you speak in English. There is no pass mark for paper 1. I believe you're talking about prelims paper 1. You just score maximum marks. Except in the qualifying papers, every other paper you just score maximum marks. That's it. Do we have to know the government policies passed over the previous and current years? Yes, you need to know the government policies passed over the previous and current years. Yes. Training center for IFS is the Foreign Services Institute in Delhi. Are there any training centers in Kerala? No. But we do have training centers for Kerala cadre officers. We have something known as Institute of Management and Governance, IMG. So that trains Kerala cadre officers. Negative marks, sir, is there any negative marks? Yes, negative marks are there in prelims. In prelims, you have negative marks. Is English literature a good optional? Yes, Isha, English literature is a decent optional. It's a good option, but you need to probably study for UPSC specifically for that. Is Manorama yearbook good for UPSC? Yes, it is very good for UPSC. It's a very good study material for UPSC. Manorama yearbook is a very good study material for UPSC. How hard can interviews be? Depends on you and how you prepare. See, just like you prepare for mains, just like you prepare for your board exam, you prepare for interviews as well. So when you prepare, it won't be that bad. Procedure for foundation course, I think you need to check up with Manorama Horizon. They will help you out. Are there any books written by a civil servant? There are many books. See, there was a book which I was reading today morning by Anil Swarup. So I'll just put it here. I'm just typing the person's name. Very, very decorated civil servant. He has written 2 books, Not Just a Civil Servant and also Ethical Dilemmas of a Civil Servant. Also, I think Babu Paul sir in book under. Babu Paul sir is one of the most respected civil service officers of all time. Babu Paul sir in book under. Also, Malayatu Ramakrishnan, very famous writer who is also a civil servant. He has also written books on his life. Like if we choose history among all subjects, then for the exam, will only history subjects questions come, or will the questions from all subjects? See, for general studies, you have to write questions from all subjects. If you choose history, history is your optional. For your optional paper, you will only get history questions. For general studies papers, you'll get questions according to the syllabus. Sir, is IAS all about SST? I do not understand what SST is. I think you're talking about social sciences. Mostly, yes. Mostly IAS or civil service exam is about SST. Yes. Mostly, but you have to know a bit. Yeah. Prashant sir has also brought a recent book. Yeah. Can I choose physical education over Hindi in class 12? Yes, 100% you can choose physical education over Hindi. Nothing's stopping you from that. See, essentially Hindi is needed probably only for a qualifying paper, only one paper. Okay, that you can study before the exam even. That's it. In class 12, you can choose whatever you want. Sir, if I take commerce, can I go for IAS? Yes, you can. 100% you can. Can NRIs write UPSC? Yes, they can. You just need to be an Indian citizen. That's it. Most of the winners are professional degree holders. Is there anyone with BA or BCom? Yes. See, I just talked about Sridhanya Suresh, right? Sridhanya, her degree is MA Zoology. So she is not a professional degree holder. Sri Lakshmi Ram, Sridhanya batchmate. She is an MA economics. She is MA economics. So other people also clear. Which newspaper? I already said English, the Hindu, Malayalam Manorama would be good. See, foundation course, you can contact Manorama Horizon. They will help you out. Should we write essays if we take history as optional subject? Did not get you. See, history as optional subject, you'll have to write 2 papers in history. There is a very specific syllabus for that. General essay has nothing to do with it. General essay is common for everyone, and you have to write common topics. Sir, can an IAS officer get a chance to work in other countries as a raw officer? Yes, but very rarely. Very rarely. See, if you want to go out, they will let you out. But other than that, I don't think IPS officers would be risked in the other countries. Because essentially, if you're an IPS officer, your details would be in the public domain. So I don't think you'd be risked as a spy. But you would get to work in RAW. Probably in the higher, you'd be the head of RAW, things like that. How many years will it take to clear all exams? You can clear it in 1 year here, if you want to. You can clear in 1 year, but usually on the average 2 to 3 years maximum you can clear. So can you name some of the best IAS coaching centers in India? Fortune IAS Academy. My academy is for me the best. So you can come to Fortune, especially for Malayalis. We believe we are the best. In Delhi, we have Vajiram IAS. Forum IAS is also becoming very popular. These are some of the things which I'll recommend. The rest I won't. See, one of the reasons we are doing this foundation course along with Manorama is we believe, and Manorama also believes, that we can produce more civil servants from our state. We are the toppers in education, right? So we need to produce more civil servants. And we believe we can as well. And we believe that if we start from the beginning, from the younger age, we can produce more. And if you do the foundation course, the idea is within 1 year or within your first attempt, we can help you clear the civil service examination. That is the idea. Sir, can a civil servant become part of military? No, you can't. Civil service is different from military. Civil service has nothing to do with defense. So I think we are coming to the end of the session. Which degree is best? See, there is no particular degree which is best, but choose a college which gives you a good campus life. That would be good. There is no particular degree which is best, because the UPSC's demands for even an optional is completely different from your degree. UPSC's optional syllabus is BA honors level. So it's different from your degree. Is there a foundation course? See, we are doing a foundation course along with Manorama Horizon. So Manorama Horizon is doing the foundation course along with us. So last question. See, I'm not an IAS. I think I clarified that at the beginning. So that's it. I think thank you very much, people. So I hope I clarified most of your doubts. I will just give my mail ID so that you can, if you want to contact me, you can contact me directly. So director@fortuneias.com, that is my mail ID. So you can contact me in that mail ID if you want. So thank you very much, everyone, for your patient listening.
Thank you, sir. നമ്മളുടെ ഒരു സെഷൻ UPSC സിവിൽ സർവീസ് എക്സാം എന്താണ്, UPSC സിവിൽ സർവീസ് എക്സാം ക്ലിയർ ചെയ്യുന്നതിലൂടെ എന്താണ് കിട്ടുന്നത്? എല്ലാവർക്കും IAS അല്ലെങ്കിൽ IPS എന്നൊരു പൊസിഷൻ അറിയാം, പക്ഷെ അത് ലഭിക്കുവാൻ വേണ്ടി എന്താണ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് എന്നുള്ളതിനെ കുറിച്ച് സാർ വളരെ വിശദമായി തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു സെഷനിലൂടെ പറഞ്ഞു. ഇപ്പോഴും നമുക്ക് ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ വരുന്നുണ്ട്, പക്ഷെ സാർ നമ്മളുടെ ഒരു സമയത്തിന്റെ ഒരു പരിമിതി കൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് ഇത്രയും ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ എടുക്കാനേ സാധിച്ചുള്ളൂ. എനിവേ സാർ, നമ്മുടെ മലയാള മനോരമയുടെ ഈ ഒരു സെഷനിൽ വരികയും നമ്മളുടെ കുട്ടികളുമായിട്ട് ഇത്ര നേരം സംവദിക്കുകയും അവരുടെ ചോദ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് വളരെ വിശദമായി തന്നെ ഉത്തരങ്ങൾ നൽകുകയും ചെയ്ത മുനി സാറിന് മലയാള മനോരമയുടെ പേരിലുള്ള നന്ദി അർപ്പിക്കുന്നു. താങ്ക് യു സോ മച്ച് സാർ.
താങ്ക് യു സെവൻ. താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച്.
അതിനോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു സെഷൻ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്ത എല്ലാവർക്കും ഇതൊരു വളരെ വിജ്ഞാനപ്രദമായ ഒരു സെഷൻ ആയിരുന്നു എന്ന് ഞങ്ങൾ വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു സെഷനെ കുറിച്ചുള്ള നിങ്ങളുടെ അഭിപ്രായങ്ങളും നിർദ്ദേശങ്ങളും support@manoramahorizon.com എന്നുള്ള ഇമെയിൽ അഡ്രസ്സിൽ എഴുതി അറിയിക്കുക. ഇനിയും മനോരമ ഹൊറൈസൺ ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള സെഷൻസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതായിരിക്കും. അതുപോലെ പലരും ഫൗണ്ടേഷൻ കോഴ്സിനെ കുറിച്ചുള്ള സംശയങ്ങൾ ചോദിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതിന് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കൂടുതൽ വിവരങ്ങൾക്ക് www.manoramahorizon.com എന്നുള്ള ഈ വെബ്സൈറ്റ് സന്ദർശിക്കാം. എല്ലാവർക്കും ജീവിതത്തിൽ ഏറ്റവും ഉന്നതമായ ഒരു വിജയം ഉണ്ടാകട്ടെ. ഈ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാവരും നമ്മളുടെ ഭാവിയിലെ സിവിൽ സർവൻസ് ആകട്ടെ എന്ന് ആശംസിക്കുന്നു, പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുന്നു. എല്ലാവർക്കും നന്ദി. താങ്ക് യു സോ മച്ച്.
Manorama Horizon. Learning made simple.